Hello, everybody. Welcome back for more Disco Elysium. In our last stream, we had a pretty good talk with Everard Clare once again, after learning a little bit more about the drug trade, dealing with the Hardy Boys, and finding out more about the origin of Elizabeth the lawyer woman. But it is now getting into the evening of the second day. We still have to wait until the third day before we can go and gain access to the harbor, which will also allow me to search for my next pair of armor, or next part of the armor set. But until then, I gotta wait until 9 p.m. to go see the smoking guy. And I think I'm gonna go talk to Joyce. Alright. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else really I can do right now other than talk to Joyce. Very close to a new level. This reel-to-reel boombox of everyone's youth, a little banged up, a little chipped, and honestly, that's not that loud either. Looks cool though. Excels at being carried on the shoulder, allowing you to play audio tapes and blast music into the face of unsuspecting strangers. Seriously? Equip this to play tapes. I don't have any tapes. I still need to find a place where I can get tapes. Let's see here. Add even more beauty to the wall. You have seen an exceptionally beautiful wall in Martinez near the pier and have decided to add to its beauty artistically. This will take a brush first. Who would have one? Then paint, then the act itself. Maybe I should go talk to the artist girl, see if I can borrow her brush. That I have to do tomorrow. That happens tomorrow. Right. At... Is it 9:30? Yeah, it would be 9:30, because it's 8 hours from 1:30. Prove your authority to Titus Hardy. I can do that. Find moral, that I have to do tomorrow. Find speed and sniff it. I thought I already did that. Still need to track down my veg. Do that tomorrow. Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Put the clothes in the trash. Could have been the weasel. Well, maybe she'll tell us what she knows about the lynching after we get back to her about the drugs. Victim's tattoos. Right. Hey, can you
Hello
toss me
again,
down a brush?
officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Actually, I need some paint. And your brush, too. I've got a plan, girl.
What for?
Doing a renovation. It's boring, but necessary. For my motor carriage, we're going undercover. The apocalypse is coming. I need to warn people. Or for art. It's for art, okay? Nah, I think I'm gonna go with 3. Because that's one hell of a mural I could paint on that empty wall.
What do you think I'm trying to paint here? A mural for a better tomorrow? Why do you really need it?
For art. It's for art, okay?
Well, if it's for art... But what kind of art are we talking about?
To be honest, I haven't really thought of anything yet. But I'm sure I will. Everything is sad and shit. And we need to make it okay. Just give me the brush. Grand art. Art deluxe. The artsiest. The most groundbreaking. Yeah, we're going with that. Totally.
Let me stop you right there, Piggy. You have no idea, do you? No idea. No brush? Fuck off.
You'll see. You will all see and tremble.
Yeah, not gonna hold my breath, Piggy. You look like you'd suck. Everything, really.
And I have a high conceptualization, too. I guess I have to find out other things first.
Tremble. The time is now. Ta'ola.
What time?
Time for the show. For Ta'ola. The hallowed time of fear and disintegration. A countdown has begun. All will collapse on itself. The world will disappear into a single grain of blackness. All sound will be muted. All life will scream.
That sounds pretty bleak. Wait. When did this countdown begin?
Monday morning, the moment you arrived in this reality, are the first crack in the sheer face of God. From you it will spread.
So what is Ta'ola?
Ulogu Theodos, Xeno Zausin, Ipoli Osithian, Echondes Fronisin.
I see. Anyone have Google Translate? That looks somewhat Slavic. I don't know, though. I have no idea what you mean, Half-Light. I do not speak this language. This is because of the insane world ending I've been saying, and isn't it?
Yes, you spoke the words of the Palindropos and the houses of Pericarnassus. Items, people, even words will tumble. All will lose its meaning in the coming years. That is why you marked yourself.
Am I sure it's not just a joke or some kind of coping mechanism? I do think the world might end soon.
It's totally also a coping mechanism.
Well, I do think the world might end soon.
The face of the woman fractures. There will be herd killing. We all become vapor.
Got a half hour before I gotta meet that other guy. Shadows on the water, green plants under the calm surface.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Well, I've talked to Everart.
You have?
And how did you like Mr. Clare?
He's a beautiful man. Beautiful and just. Everett Clare is a hero of the workers' movement. He's the champion I've sworn fealty to. He's a bloated rainbow socialist. I'm not going to do business with one. For a socialist, he's reasonable. He's not the champion I have chosen. I wish to swear fealty to you and the cause of capital. It's not important if I liked him. I was doing my job.
Of course, Detective. Excuse me for implying otherwise.
The RCM does not pick sides in this. I hope it doesn't come off any other way.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt verm myself. However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be gossiping.
Fair enough, you weird old lady.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things.
It is
Tell
true.
her she'll like you for it.
Yes, your disgusting necktie agrees completely. Let's gossip.
That money you gave me, would that make things weird if I shared information, I mean? Mr. Everard is helping me find my gun. I helped him turn up the heat on the borscht. He asked me to open a door. He asked me to deliver an envelope. I helped him turn up the heat on the borscht.
Did you now? What sort of borscht is he making?
The cook makes it to keep the strikers drunk. Helps them strike.
The strike brew. That's a classic. And by turn up the heat, I presume you mean put more alcohol in it?
Yes.
Why, if I may ask? Why make them more drunk? Aren't they corked enough already?
Yes, Detective. What were you hoping to accomplish with this strange thing?
An act born of sympathy for the working man. I set fire to the fumes of struggle. I worship Al Ghul in many ways. It's interesting. It's uninteresting, and I thought it would make the broth taste better. No, I worship Al Ghul in many ways.
Very curious. A very curious thing to do.
Truly. But that's how he operates. He just does things, man. And then talks about them. Even if it's inappropriate.
That's right, Kim. I pretty much do.
What else?
I don't know, that money you gave me, would that make things weird? If I shared information, I mean?
Weird? Oh no. One of the positive things to come from the revolution is the unhindered exchange of information, you see, even when it comes to trade secrets. Which isn't to suggest our talks constitute corporate espionage. Even if they did, it would be fine. But they don't, since you logged the money as a donation, and this is clearly just gossip between friends.
Well, he asked me to open a door.
A referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM. Don't answer that.
No, I mean, like, a real door to someone's house.
Oh my. A real door.
The lieutenant does not say anything, but you hear the nylon of his jacket rustle as he looks at you.
Had to be done. Got information, and it was useful to the case.
That's good to hear, Detective. Police work is rarely pretty, but it sounds like you did what you had to do.
Frankly, what was done was not pretty at all, but neither was it illegal, and it was not for nothing.
This seems serious.
I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight.
Union's militant wing organized the lynching. Everard says Wild Pine sent mercenaries after the Union and now one's dead. Everard has asked the Union's militant wing to fully cooperate with the investigation. Well, he didn't really know. He didn't seem at all worried about the whole conflict that's developing.
The company did not send mercenaries after the Union. I told you in great detail about the mistakes my side made. And of course, I accept them completely. I just hope you don't share Everart's view on things. After all, as he said, one's dead now. The Pine certainly hasn't killed any of theirs.
Let's keep it that way, she means to add, but then doesn't.
Yeah, he didn't really seem worried at all.
I wouldn't have taken Everard for a saber rattler. Was he surrounded by Union men he wanted to impress?
We were alone, and he seems very sure of his ability to keep things in control. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. I think he wants things to escalate. He definitely seems to. I don't know if she needs to know that quite yet.
Or he wants you and me to believe he's calm and in control. He's a politician.
There's always that risk, man. But if I may offer my opinion, he means it.
Kim's right. Pretty sure he meant it.
I'll think it over, Detective. Thank you for relaying this information to me.
Well, that's all we've got to say.
What you've
You
said
don't
is
need to
quite
know
enough.
about the Hardys.
You've given me a lot to consider, and may have helped me prevent this conflict from escalating. Of course, Detective. Should something come up later, down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat.
I won't be.
Until then, is there anything I can help you with? Yes, my eyes on the harbor have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Wait, where exactly are these eyes located?
It doesn't really matter. And I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this.
Yeah, she's watching everything we do.
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours.
No, I'm gonna let Kim do the talking on this one.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I'm sure you understand.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
The words bloodbath sound cold in her mouth. They taste of iron and strawberries.
I already heard about a connection between the lynching and strike, but I need your testimony.
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
A momentary lapse of faith?
They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor.
Do you really need a security detail? Obviously she does not.
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Krenel, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him.
She already knew about the Hardy Boys then.
He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night.
What then?
Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Krenel contractors carry out their orders, for now.
What do you mean for now, Joyce?
It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
Well, I do have to say, this is not disco.
It is very far from disco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put,
She grabs hold of the mainsails.
if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
They would have to project strength and power.
The Debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's 2nd largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath.
See, Kim, this is the great bloodletting I've been telling you about, because I am a crazy fuck. I can't see it happen. Too many things would have to go wrong first. No, I could easily see it happening. This is a pretty bleak scenario you're describing. I think this confrontation is inevitable. I think we're going to go profit here.
It appears you found it, yes. And I'm not happy for you.
I do think this confrontation is inevitable the way that we've been going.
It doesn't have to be like this. Nameless, badgeless officer of the citizens' militia. One single, concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
Well, what can you tell me about Krenel, then?
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell.
Down a deep, black well.
They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors. Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands. Countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
Okay, well, anything else you got on them?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources.
She thinks.
If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Krenel.
Could you contact the company? Tell them to call them off?
I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
You said the deceased assaulted a woman.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
Well, what did these teenagers by the canal say?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Yes, we have. Titus talked about it.
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
And who was this woman?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor. About a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
You meet her soon enough, you feel.
Or I may already have. This colonel was the one who was hanged. Did you know him?
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him.
And his name was...
Lely. His service name. A nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about the others first.
One is a man. Corty, they call him. A nickname as well. The other a woman. Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased's?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
I can't remember.
Pang of regret in her voice, huh?
That's all right, ma'am. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
Indeed. This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it. Through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
And where are the two remaining mercs now?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
The RCM gets its authority from the Coalition. Where does theirs come from? We still need to know where they are. We'll confront them directly.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Sent by the Pines, clothes didn't fit right.
One is obviously
it.
the scab leader at the harbor gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise.
It's true.
The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
One must be the goon in ill-fitting work clothes by the harbor gates. Scab leader.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
One is probably in a building overlooking the roundabout.
That would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a shortwave at the ship's wheel.
All right.
I hope I can answer it better.
How much time would you say we have before this thing explodes?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob, and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
5 days, not more. Maybe sooner.
Thank you, Inland Empire.
It's a matter of days, not weeks.
Well, that's
I
enough
am
for now.
sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
Sure. Now can you tell me about these tattoos?
Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about half a minute, in silence.
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
So what do you think?
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars.
She points to one on the photo paper.
I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent.
Like stars in the sky?
Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels.
What's the use of this map?
The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it.
Where is he now?
This one is going nowhere but the morgue. I've spoken to him. For now, the soul is fastened inside his corpse.
That is precisely what the sailors feared when they drew these maps. A fear of drowning within one's own corpse.
What travels did the dead man make?
Quite a few. Revachol, the Oranese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Krenel, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semines Islands, then this.
She points to his heart. What is that?
Revachol. Those are the two constants. Revachol on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Interinsulary Age.
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
Somewhere in an office lit by a single green desk lamp, Captain Ptolemaeus Price, 58, bald and bespectacled, is writing in a ledger on his desk. Rows and rows of days and weeks, laconic remarks in a single column. Patrol, case, vacation, injured. In Martinez looking into Krenel, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter.
This man is no brother of mine, but this is surface history.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos.
For all the boys looking for adventure, a blood spatter on the seas.
So who could tell me more, do you think?
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
Surely there are other people to ask about the tattoo. This is not necessary to complete the task, officer. It's a dangerous side task. Search elsewhere.
You're right. It's not a good idea. We'll leave it off the schedule. I'm not playing a beefcake.
I am relieved you think so. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security.
Well, that's all for the tattoos. Thank you for your help.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Not really. Thanks, Joyce. At this point, 2 skill points. You know what? I may as well use one to open this up. -1 logic, -1 reaction speed. -1 drama. Called to Mamadakwa. There are actually no bonuses or negatives to doing that one. Cop of the Apocalypse. -1 rhetoric for negative rambling madman. You woke up in a hotel room and started rambling about the end of the world. It's not your normal everyday doom crying either. Something truly colossal is approaching. The gloaming, the culling, the bloodletting of unimaginable proportions. Until now, you've been pleasantly vague about the precise nature of this cataclysm. No more. Put the bloodletting on the burner and really figure out what's threatening the fragile physical reality you just found yourself in. I think we'll go for the Call de Mamadakwa. Why not? And let's put another point in authority. Good. Ask another about the tattoo's possible meaning. Oh. I'm gonna do Tommy Lahome again, it looks like. Anyway. First, we do need to go and check on that guy's apartment. She didn't really tell us too much extra. Mostly that we have a real issue to stop, which will probably result in me having to, like, flex my authority muscle successfully against Titus in order to kind of push forward. And if Titus is still in the whirling by the time I get back there. There he is. There we go.
Gendarmerie, you found me.
Young man on the balcony gives you a bright smile before taking another drag from his cigarette.
His slender figure is backlit by city lights, its distant streets and motorways flashing like diamonds. And his shirt is still unbuttoned.
Found a key hidden under a stone. Was it yours?
It was mine. My friends use it from time to time to visit me.
He looks at you, and something sparkles in his eyes.
So tell me, are you here to make things right again?
That's what I'm aiming for, yes. Honestly, just trying not to screw anything up. I'm not going to make things just right. I'm going to make them spectacular. I was hoping to talk to a possible witness. Your balcony overlooks the murder scene.
Beautiful.
He says again, a nearby street lamp casts shadow on his chin, drawing out the slender cheekbones.
I have some good news for you. My Sunday friend is visiting me tonight. I told him about you and he'd like to say hello. Step in. He's already waiting.
He nods towards door number 28. By the way, I'm really digging the view here. Point to skinny sign.
That's why I chose this place. Martinez is special, isn't it?
Wait. Suddenly you're digging things?
Lieutenant whispers to you, shaking his head. Why would I want to meet your friend?
Trust me, you do.
Very well, I'll talk to him. First, I want to talk to you. I have so many questions.
That's nice, but I don't have anything to tell you. It's my friend you're looking for, not me.
He takes another drag of his unfiltered cigarette and looks around. It's getting dark and the neighboring windows have lit up one by one. Downstairs, a cat crosses the yard, disappearing into the bush.
Besides, I've got to run.
He's going to leave you alone again. That's sad.
But I just found you again.
Just look at it. It's a beautiful night. Who's going to stay in on a night like this?
He's right. Only losers go to bed early. Time to break out the booze.
Only if you promise that we'll talk again. It's important.
Something flutters in the corner of the lieutenant's mouth as you're saying those words.
We'll talk. Just not tonight. Take care, alright?
Interview the Sunday friend.
And he's gone again. Looks like it's becoming a theme for him.
He's always leaving. Why is he always leaving, Kim? There's something so different about him that I can't just put my finger on.
Different, of course.
Shirt. Why is his shirt always unbuttoned? He's such a good listener. I like talking to him. He was not a good listener. There was just something so mysterious about the way he talks and moves. He smells so good. Why on earth does he smell so good?
He smells good.
Lieutenant squints his eyes, trying to hold back laughter. That's weird, right?
He smells good, and that's weird. Come on, detective, let's go. We've got a potential witness to interview. His Sunday friend, remember?
He nods at the apartment door before you. Quarterly business magazine. Exquisite canopy bed made of metal. Government issues take me all over Revachol, as you can see. Dishes soaked up in pot. An empty ashtray. Flyers for underground parties. Dates for open lectures at Alohi University. Expensive men's perfume lingers in the air. Old photos of the same apartment. Dates year 01. Buckets of paint and a layer of old newspapers. Party dragon silk robe? What? +1 drama, +1 electrochemistry. Become the dragon. Become an addict in a strange bathing robe. This sleazy silky bathrobe in vibrant blue features roaring dragons on his front, ready to take off into the night. A red belt has been provided for fastening. It's culturally insensitive, but only for people who are not from Seoul. The real Seolites probably don't care. Oh my. Yeah, no, that looks a little bit too silly. Samaran conical hat. This tawny cone-shaped hat looks like a beacon of Samaran wisdom, its straws sticking up like antennas. Thank God you can't really see people's reaction when they see you strolling down this incredibly insensitive headpiece. +1 logic. Super logical for a cop to wear this. -1 suggestion. Insensitive bachelor party vibes. Wait, how insensitive? Oh, yeah. None of these is weird.
Officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia.
The man in business casual removes his cufflinks.
You shouldn't be seeing him in an intimate setting. For some reason, you feel this man is your superior. Superior, but he's not in the command chain.
My name is Charles Vildrouin, and I am an official with the coalition government. I work for the Institute of Price Stabilité on assignment from Sur la Clé. I heard you talking to my friend outside. Very good. Super. I am here to assist you in any way possible. Ask me about the hanging.
Hanging? What a drag. He seems like a cultured gentleman. You should ask him about the finer things.
Not sure where I want to put it. You know, let's put more into authority. There we go. This is now pretty much my highest single stat, so I should be able to take care of Titus Hardy, at the very least. Point at the bed. Before we go on, I absolutely have to inquire about this wonderful canopy. Show him the silk robe. Before we get started, tell me where you got this beautiful silk robe from. Show him the Sumerian hat. We'll get to that right after you tell me the story behind this black Sumerian hat. No, we'll talk about the canopy, though. I don't really care about the racist get-up.
Oh, yes. My friend has a great eye for these things. He refuses to tell me where it came from. It's a mystery. I believe they call this type of frame industrial. It's very comfy. That's really all I can tell you about it.
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and nods to you to proceed.
You actually witnessed the lynching?
I'm sorry to say I did, officer.
It's just the break we've been looking for. Is that because you did it, Mr. Villidroin? Start from the beginning, if you don't mind.
Officer, it's very difficult to describe what I saw that night. It was so surreal to me, like in a play.
He holds out his hands and blossoms his fingers, like a drama teacher setting the scene.
What do you mean, like in a play?
It was just so strange. I could barely comprehend what was happening. I was on the balcony when it happened, getting some fresh air. I remember that first they came in, carrying what looked like a body. And then I saw all the surrounding windows go dead, one by one. That's when I understood I should not be seeing this.
Sounds like the victim was unconscious, or at least incapacitated. Interesting.
How many of them were there?
I couldn't tell you exactly. Less than 10. Maybe 8?
The lieutenant sends you a sharp look at the mention of that number.
Were any of them huge? Like 200 kilograms huge?
That's a giant you're describing. No, they were all quite human, as far as I could tell.
What happened next?
I went back inside.
Were you able to see anything from inside?
Officer, the yard was pitch black. There was nothing to see, but I could still hear their voices. They were threatening to kill that poor man.
Were they men? Women?
All men, I presume. But again, I couldn't see very clearly.
But we are fairly certain the lady driver was present.
Lieutenant flips through his notes. Are you sure at least one of them wasn't a woman?
It's possible, officer, but I cannot say with certainty. It was very dark, you must remember.
What happened next?
Well, that's the strangest part, officer. Nothing happened. It was oddly quiet for a public lynching.
What do you mean nothing happened? They lynched a guy.
Eventually, their shouts died down, and that was all. There were no gunshots, no celebratory shouts, no anything.
And why didn't you call the RCM?
You're right, of course. That is what one is supposed to do in such circumstances. I was simply in shock. I'm afraid I don't have anything else to add.
About what time was all this happening, approximately?
All I can say is that it was late.
So let me get this straight. You didn't actually witness the hanging itself, did you?
No, I didn't see the corpse until the following day.
Oh, that was a waste of time. Yeah, we're not going to say that out loud. That makes me sound weak. Well, those are all my questions. Thank you for your
Of
time.
course, anything I can do to assist the RCM.
What's an official like you doing in Martinez, anyway?
The coalition is only looking out for the price stability. Inflation is a killer, like a heart disease blocking the normal circulation of the economy. It must be controlled. The economy impacts the entire international community, which is why it requires international oversight.
Okay, but what are you doing here in this apartment?
Well, I'm renovating it. It is an interesting project. The building used to be a 12-story skyscraper before the cannons took the top 4 stories off. This, of course, happened when the coalition forces landed here. You could say I'm undoing some of the material damage the international community caused when we arrived here.
But... Alright. So, interesting. What is the price stability?
It is the most important thing.
That doesn't tell me anything.
It's the central goal of any sound monetary policy. Maintaining the price stability is essential to maintaining high levels of economic activity, which is essential for maintaining high levels of employment.
Aha. I see.
Which is essential for maintaining the social stability.
Ah, hello, the Jew Cashew. You haven't missed too much. I've just mainly been talking. A lot has kind of happened in the last couple of episodes of this game, but yeah, we are pretty much learning a little bit more about the militia group that the Hanged Man was a part of. This guy knows fucking nothing. I think he's here as seeing some kind of escort, but he's not gonna say that because he's a high-ranking politician.
Basically, it makes sure the price of bread doesn't change.
Précisément. Too much inflation, bread becomes too expensive. Too much deflation, it becomes too cheap for bakers to produce. That's why the Institute of Price Stability works to keep inflation just below 2%.
Below 2% of what, though?
But not too far below, no. Too below is also bad. Below, but close to 2%.
You're not answering my questions at all, you fucking politician.
The coalition believes in the importance of informing the public about the benefits of the price stability. Transparency is one of our principles. Would you like an informational pamphlet?
Yeah, sure, it's something I can use to pass time later if I need to.
A sound monetary policy is essential for addressing uncertainty. Stability is the raison d'être of the moral intern. It's the reason why I identify as a moralist.
Yeah, I could tell you're a fucking moralist.
But oh, I don't have my leaflets on me today. That's too bad. You can always call our information line. Making information available is part of the moral intern's commitment to transparency. Whatever you wish, officer.
Can you tell me a little bit about your friend? He's really hot and he likes to smoke things.
Ah, my friend. My friend is a good young man. His family immigrated here from Kedra and life has not been easy for him. But he understands the importance of education. He has taken his future into his own hands and that's all that matters.
So, how did you two even become friends?
How did any of us become friends? Bad things happening on the Insulindian Isola? Oil platforms ablaze in the night? Civil wars lasting for years? Finally, the international community is forced to step in.
What are you talking about? No one becomes friends that way, you dirty, dirty Frenchman.
Au contraire. It's how millions of people end up where they are. Meeting the people they meet. It's how I came here, and my friend too.
Still haven't told me who he is, though.
Sorry. Who?
Your friend, the smoker on the balcony. We were just talking about him.
But I told you, officer. He's a bright young man here to pursue his education. Education is the foundation of our future, especially the arts. It is a cornerstone of our civilization.
Yeah, something tells me his friend is in the arts of getting down. So all you can tell me about him is that he is here to study the arts.
He's deeply enmeshed in the study of the fine arts, yes.
Is that the fine sexual arts?
As though you weren't envious enough of the boy as is.
Yeah, which arts?
He's a truly free spirit. He likes all the arts. Perhaps graphic design, printmaking, who knows? The world is open wide for a talented youth like him.
And what exactly are you doing in his apartment by yourself, you creepy weird man?
I'm just enjoying the view.
Oh, I would agree with you there, the Jew Kashu. It definitely is. I might be good and practiced in it. Never know, though. Or do you? What view? It's dark outside,
Listen.
he says, raising his hand.
A baby is crying in the neighboring apartment.
Someone's baby is crying,
No, listen.
he says again, looking outside.
The Insulindian Bay.
What about
This
it?
place used to be a luxury accommodation before the revolution. Apartments, of course, were much bigger then. A few walls have been added here and there, leaving some of the tenants without a private bathroom or a kitchen. But the million real view stays. You can't take that away. My friend comes and goes. I'm sure you've seen him around. He's a busy bee.
Buzz, buzz.
A busy bee? What an odd choice of words.
I'm all ears, officer. A moment,
I'm done with you.
officer.
What?
Do you have everything you need from me? I'm afraid we won't have the chance to speak again once you leave.
Hold on, why can't we talk later?
It's against diplomatic best practices for an official in my position to be discussing murders with local militiamen. And I'm pressed for time. After you leave, I should be leaving as well.
I'm not going anywhere. Just want to take a look around this apartment. Thanks for the heads up, but my work here is done. I find you useless.
Of course. I'm glad I could help.
I'm not interested in learning about your moralism. I myself am not a centrist. I don't believe in centrism. God, I hate that word. It's just something wrong with bussy. It's like gunkle. It sounds gross. Let me in! Jagasses. Alright. Well. No. B is fine. It's the other one. They killed Macaulay Culkin in that movie. That's what bees have done to me, the Juke Shoe. Really, they did it to Macaulay Culkin, or the character he was playing, but that's not the point. The point is that it made me feel nothing, because it was a shitty movie. I say weird things a lot. Oh, I can't check this out anymore? That's too bad. This, though. What's this? Oh, right. Already kind of searched through here. Fire. Suddenly you feel the boxes on fire. Why? Ooh. More drugs. That's right. That's right. Last stream I got... Totally forgot. I got high on these drugs. Then I tried to pull out... I asked the lieutenant for his gun and put it into my mouth to try and show that I'm a real man. And joked about suicide to try and intimidate the Union. They just looked at me funny. It was dark. Don't do drugs, kids. Unless it's marijuana. Everyone do marijuana. Yes. Oh, believe me. In fact, you know, speaking of getting high on borscht. I mean, this officer obviously needs a little bit more of my special borscht. Hey. Hey. Alcoholic borscht. Yes. See, you know. You know. It is not vodka. It is vodka. You drink the vodka, not the potato. It's the one thing that the Irish had that they were right about. Fuck, wrong door. I'm just going through all the loading screens here. Well, you know, it really helps with your neurochemistry. You take a swig and all of your physical stats go up one, but you take a little hit of morale damage. You're just like, oh, my self-esteem, I am a drunk man. But then you're like, I don't care, my inhibitions have been thrown to the wind. I don't think we need to go back in there. Okay. So now that we are getting to be late at night, first thing I want to check, is Titus still here? Oh shit, you're right, I do need to go get the die as well. Yep, he's here.
It's you again. What is it?
I'll see if I can take it. Anything else that can up my authority? Maybe a smoke. Hey.
It's you again. What is it?
As you look around this room full of sweating,
There we go.
swearing, drinking, spitting out tobacco, does this look familiar?
Where have I seen this before?
You believe the place was called Precinct 41. It was also filled with, almost exclusively, men, sitting on desks, talking shit and wasting time. You seen Apricot, old Purdue's daughter? Asks Lieutenant McCoy. Replies Torson. The ass on that one. McCoy shakes his head in appreciation. A bit strange the old man named her Apricot, but, I mean, who am I to judge? Wanna hit the kebab joint?
Ooh. I get it, Titus. You guys really are the authority around here.
Huh?
You must be... You're just like real cops. Drinking beer and sitting around with your dicks in your hand.
You got a problem with beer now?
Yeah. I drink wine by the bottle like a wino. And have you tried this borscht? See? Like, this game has encouraged you to smoke the Jukashu. I lit one up, raised my authority, you respected the authority, lit one up.
Not quite there yet. Push on.
No, I'm drunk on the job too. I don't give a shit. Just like you guys. No, I'm also not a big fan of beer and jerking off instead of helping people. I have a beer problem, but not a problem with beer. I also have no idea how to do my job, like you. Ouch. I think we're gonna try and be less insulting, but also insulting. Oh, no, I'm also a big fan of beer and jerking off instead of helping people.
You saying we don't help people? I've been doing this job for 10 years. Martinez was a dump before we put this outfit together.
They don't know, man. They weren't here. We had 3 shootings a week, kids dead, fucking graffito everywhere. You cops haven't shown up since the 30s.
Congratulations on the graffiti removal. All I see is you sitting around talking about Monica's titties while there's a rape victim.
So what? What do you want from me? We took care of that fuck.
Don't let him drink that. One more push. Quick.
It's not about who did it. It's about the victim. She needs help. Someone's been raped. She needs counseling. We need to talk to her. I've asked this before. Why are you hiding the victim?
Titus?
He looks at her.
She stops mid-sentence. That's it. You got him. He's going to give it up, but on his terms.
You wanna help her, cop? Fine. I'm gonna let you help her, but you treat her with respect. If you don't, if you question her, harass her, a freight train of pain, buddy.
What is her name?
I'm guessing Sylvie.
Glacia, I'm on due. She's standing near the whirling.
Never mind.
A real pretty one. Silvery jumpsuit, blonde. That's Amonju with an O-U.
The one I talked to right at the beginning. There are so many great responses and interactions in this game overall. It's just kind of flooring at times.
Shit. The girl upstairs? That can't be her. She knows you drank so hard you forgot you were a cop.
Oh, it's her! It's definitely her! It's Miss Oranje, disco dancer!
Oh. Classier? Correct your tie. A roll I can just totally fail. Yeah, sure. Let's try it. Why the fuck not?
You inexplicably
Oh my
add
God!
"fool" after the victim's name, but no one notices. Your spine is too damn straight. None of these people would ever suspect you've met her.
The amount of times I have failed like an 80% or higher roll in this game, and it literally just gave me a chance on a 3% chance to succeed a red check. Fuck. Dice are such a chaotic mistress.
Calm. Normal. Try to forget this little hiccup.
What was her relationship with the mercenary?
Relationship? There was no fucking relationship. He raped her. That's their relationship.
Was like that karaoke incident all over again. Or like some of the other girls he was harassing.
Okay, enough. All of this is irrelevant to your stated investigation.
No, it's not. When did the rape happen?
He did it before we killed him. He's not gonna do it again. So what does it matter?
It would help if we establish a timeline.
All right. 2 weeks, maybe? I don't know. I need another beer.
Turns to Glenn.
Here you go, boss.
Yeah, those dice seriously did forgive me. So what is your relationship with her?
I know
How well do you know her?
A small twitch in the corner of Kim's mouth. He has a hunch about what knowing means.
Mm-hmm. We all do, Kim.
Well enough, Copper. We party. She's been here for a few months.
So she's not from... Of course not. We already know she's from Aranye. I see. Another question.
If you must. Remember what I said. Freight train of pain.
Right. Yeah, I don't need to tell them any of that right now. Speaking of dice, I have dice to go and pick up.
Fairweather T500. Remember that weakness you were looking for in the ceramic armor? Like, maybe it can only stop small, fast projectiles, but a large, slow-moving pry bar would shatter it? Or, if I run an electrical current through it, maybe it will melt. Or, personal favorite, frequency something something radio weapon? None of that would work. You need to shoot the part of the enemy that doesn't have Fairweather T500 on it, because the armor itself is invulnerable. Good news is, so are the armor pieces on you.
Good to know. At this point, yeah, I think we want a little bit more in suggestion. Actually, what I really should put it in is composure. Next one I'll put in composure.
Only the red cable is plugged into the breaker box, while the black one lies neglected on the floor. This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner. This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer.
It worked once.
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting.
Wonder, will equipping my wife beater give me any additional...
This orange machine is dead still. It has the ice squeaks beneath the pry bar. You think you've got the bar jammed in there pretty well. but the lid simply won't budge. You see the pry bar's metal handle bending right before your very eyes.
Yeah, well, that's a good pry bar. I'm not criticizing it, but this ice cream maker is frozen shut. It takes an advanced tool to get it open.
And where do we get one?
I have no idea, officer. This ice cream maker isn't important enough to requisition a special tool.
You have no idea of that, Kim.
Sooner or later, you will stumble upon a tool mighty enough. Then we will know what's in this mysterious ice cream maker.
Because unlike a red check, I can redo that. But only a point. Okay. Don't need no minuses to perception.
The bear's eyes are still glowing red. It's guarding over the freezing corpse hidden inside its belly.
It's even. We can try it.
You touch the dead man's body. His skin is cold, light blue and silvery in the light of the fridge. You still have no idea where to begin, or what to even do with him.
It'll come to you sooner or later. At least he's safe here until then.
I don't need to, I don't need to, deal with the extra morale damage. Try that one more time, though.
The bear's eyes are still glowing red. It's guarding over the freezing corpse. Your arms reach out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh, first with your fingertips, then under the palm of your hand.
What is this?
His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a spider, your hand crawls over his features. Everything is silent.
Crawl up his nostrils. Pull your fingers in his mouth and squeeze his nose. I think the mouth might be the smartest one to go for out of those three.
The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop. You're on the right track.
Play with it. This feels right. Play with that dead tongue.
The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, delicate to touch. From the soft meat, teeth are budding. Hard pearls of bone in the gums and in the back of the mouth. Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in. A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your naked hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from the throat, and there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius, the edges appear darkened. An abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
Fuck yeah.
Keep going.
A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound. Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem. Yes, that's what this part is called. You've seen the drawings. You've studied them. The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex. This man will never sleep again. Never wake. The funk soul brother at the back of his head has gone dark forever.
Right about now, I would assume so.
Your fingers slide into the remains of his limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres.
There's a cavity cut right between the hemispheres.
The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper. Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow. All the muscles in your body harden. Time to enter him.
Let's fist fuck that mouth. We really are just going for mangling that corpse. I think we're gonna try to wriggle in first, though. Don't want to just blow everything out. I do have gloves on. They're just fingerless gloves.
Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper until you feel it on the tip of your finger. Sharp, serrated material. The edges cut right into your skin. The pain is barely noticeable under the adrenaline rush.
Feel a solid object right under the skull.
Can you get to it?
Search his pockets for something.
There's a tiny crack, a protrusion in the cranium, right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it, from the inside. The object that is in there stops just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium.
We have the makings of a very small exit wound here.
Lieutenant leans closer.
You pick the object between your index and middle finger. Feels sharp, like metal. You press your teeth together. Your jaw is clenched. All you need to do is just...
I got it.
Good.
The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers. With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth, covered in blood up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower, a blossom made of lead.
A bullet.
The bullet falls in the
Interesting.
bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-caliber rifle. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact.
Can I have it? You know, he's going to be taking the body back eventually anyway, so you can keep it as a gift.
No, you deserve it. We can log it later.
Alright. Lieutenant drops the bag in your bloody hands. Feels right. Oh, this cop is indeed a virtuoso. And just when you get lucky with your die rolls, it's good.
We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate, back of mouth. High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
Sounds about right. Sounds like heaven.
Opinion, fatal injury.
Goddamn right.
And one last thing. We should amend injury number 3. Ligament mark. New opinion, non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment.
He's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
Well, the French guy did, the politician guy did say it was oddly quiet for a hanging, so makes sense.
Yes, and the belt around his neck, the hanging, even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead.
Dead dabba-doop doop. You think so? Agreed. Aren't we jumping to conclusions?
I did not just come up with this. I've had my doubts since you showed me the tracks, officer. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him? There is no satisfactory explanation.
It's true.
There have been other signs too. Small details. Everything is too neatly designed for us to assign probable cause here, as we did, full-heartedly. Well, no more.
We almost fell for it, he thinks. Almost. There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged.
Maybe the bullet holds more answers.
Yes, we should take a closer look at it. I am certain it has more to tell us.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
I think I need to wash myself.
Oh, you really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening.
I still need to repair my sink first. Yeah, I know. I'm wondering if it really was the Hardy Boys who still shot him. But then again, as Joyce already pointed out, Union guys don't really have guns. Not a lot of people do have guns in this place. He could have potentially even been shot by one of his own people.
That's for us to find out. But this, it will make finding them just a little easier. To hide something. The real killer, the real motivation, what really happened here.
Well, logic dinged it, so we may as well.
To put him out of his misery? It's possible, but it does not explain all the other dubious things here. Lack of struggle, primarily. I may be intellectually sloppy, but I prefer one theory at a time. And this just smacks of treatment to me. We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day.
You'll be gone? What should I do in the meanwhile?
Work on the case. Tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything too dangerous. An officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this. I'll leave that choice to you. And one more thing. Great work, detective.
The word lingers in the air of the basement. Far away ice cream makers are buzzing, and the sea wind blows outside. Detective.
After you bag the corpse, Lieutenant Kitsuragi will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You can do side tasks, and even the main case, but it might be more difficult. Plan his exit accordingly.
I still have a bit of a plan on that. Yeah, no, they're trying to protect something. I really do feel that. Maybe it was Aranye who killed him. That could very well be it.
The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location the bullet was found. Beside his orderly handwriting, the bullet looks especially sad, like a tiny, shriveled head of cauliflower. The squashed bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through the bag. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge.
One of the Krenel mercenaries was watching from a building, we believe. They could have done it. They could have shot him.
What?
I said, what do I do with you, bullet?
Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say find the weapon that shot me.
It's a good idea. I don't know.
If we find who owns it, we will have likely found who used it, possibly to kill our victim. In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better.
The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter. You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard. It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound.
What can you say about the bullet so far?
It's a jacketed bullet close to 5 millimeters in diameter.
A jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzleloader like those typically found on the streets of Martinez.
Highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried breech-loading weapons like this for nearly half a century.
Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is strange. Very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it.
Something tells you that won't be any time soon. This'll have to be one of those epic tasks that's open for a while.
Try to determine what type of weapon shot this. It's high.
A rifle, Revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46 millimeter from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique or a retrofitted antique.
Make?
The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theater of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago. Incidentally, you have just such a rifle with you. The dusty old thing you found hidden in the basement below the commercial area. It's unusable, sadly. If it were, the bullet would probably fit the chamber.
Is anyone still making these rifles?
No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war. So there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling.
Who uses Bell McGrave rifles these days?
Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for the same thing you found in that hidden weapons cache, only in working order.
I have a feeling it was one of the other Krenels that shot him, if that's the case.
What are you thinking? Bullet?
I think I know where this came from. Dangled the bag thoughtfully.
Okay. And?
The shot probably came from a Bell McGraw rifle.
An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez, or anywhere in Revachol, really.
Why not?
Sure, there's some arms trafficking, but the laws prohibiting the use of breech loaders we inherited from the monarchy have been effective, from what I've seen. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end.
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Real Belt.
I think we should have more powerful guns. We are the law. Makes you consider every shot. I like it.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier.
America definitely either doesn't exist or no longer exists in this world.
But back to the investigation.
Seems we're looking for an antiques enthusiast. Victim could have been mixed up with some foreign. Excuse me, I am getting tired. Well-armed bangers, jamrock bangers, started crossing over into Martinez.
Let's find out. Next step, finding the gun itself.
The bullet has nothing more to say. Cool. Well, learning more.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
Yeah, I came back to pick up my die.
Very good. That will be 7 real for 1 custom die. Here's the cursed die you ordered.
Read the phrases.
The phrases read, God is indifferent. Take all. Lose all. 50-50. Nothing happens. And pale.
What is this?
It's a die. Try
Oh, it's not.
rolling
It's a
it.
sphere. Cast the cursed die! No, I'm not deranged. I don't want to roll a cursed die. But I just commissioned it. Of course I want to roll it. Well, to be fair, the Jew Cashew, he was on drugs when he put the gun in his mouth. But yes, the amount of times Harry has talked about suicide, he's definitely considered that shot.
You throw the ball on the floor, and it ends with one of the phrases facing upwards. God is indifferent.
He sure is.
Good. Now roll again, detective.
It lands on exactly the same result. God is indifferent. It declares again.
It's a sphere pretending to be a six-sided die. Each row will end with one of the phrases facing up. The die originates in Ilmara, where it was used for cleromancy. Except I've weighted the die. When you try rolling it, you realize that each time it gets you exactly the same result. God is indifferent. This is our curse.
It's even worse than she says. God is dead. We live in a forsaken age.
This is mega cool, but can I get one that actually works? You're saying that the end result doesn't matter.
In the face of death? No, not really.
Oh, what a relief.
It is, isn't it? There's something liberating about knowing it's just we humans. No all-powerful forces guiding us, watching us, judging us.
I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for the die.
Good luck, officer.
You know what? It's even. And I can up my shivers too.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
A gust of cold air sweeps through the chimney. The stones and minerals on the shelves rattle as though agitated. For a moment, it almost feels as though you're outside the building, exposed to the atmosphere.
Hey, Neha. The curse is real, and I figured out why it has spared you.
Didn't we already talk about this?
It's because you're not in the same building as the others. This isn't technically the doomed commercial area.
What are you talking about? My address is exactly the same. Rue de Saint-Guilain 10.
No, the old coal plant that used to be here was subsumed into the new venture. Its ruins swallowed up. Yet it has a different address in the heart of the city.
Ah, yes, because it used to be a coal plant. You're in a chimney of another building.
This doesn't make any sense.
She looks around for the makeshift nest that she has carved out for herself, bewildered.
Are you saying my business was spared because of a technicality? Where is this coming from?
I'm just using logic. It's windy in here. You probably haven't properly sealed the chimney crown.
You're right. I should take a trip to the roof once the snow is gone. Does it mean that I'm safe from failure?
Don't let her become complacent. She still needs to ward her soul against the evil forces.
Actually, it's only your workshop that's protected. You should still do something to defend your person. No one's really ever safe from the failure. I like the first one better. It's a little bit less straightforward. She is a great character. She's just like flat out no bullshit. And she's a friggin' die maker and a nerd who loves tabletop RPGs.
She starts laughing. her fingers trying to rub away the exhaustion from her face.
What?
Do you know what this is?
She raises her hand to reveal a piece of metal shining on her index finger. A lucky charm? A Semini's ward? Looks like just a regular piece of jewelry to me. I don't care what it is. I only came to tell you about why you haven't failed yet.
It's a mourning ring. I made this when my first company failed. It was a small jewelry shop right here in the East Delta Commerce Center, built with the little I inherited from my parents. I drove it into the ground within a year. I didn't have what you would call a viable business plan.
See, the curse is real. I bet you didn't run away from this little jewelry shop from the protective depths of the chimney.
No, you're right. I didn't. It wasn't just the jewelry shop either. I always thought that it was just the world that you were supposed to try again and again until you finally succeed.
She is very straightforward, so she probably would have responded to it with a little bit less of a, oh my god, this guy's crazy. But the way I've been playing this guy, he's fucking crazy. Too self-sure, bit of a blunderer, but he gets the job done.
And now you're telling me what? That it was all because I didn't run my little shops and ventures from a dump inside an abandoned chimney?
Don't call it a dump. You've made it nice and cozy here. Sorry, I don't know what to say. It's entropy. Yes, coincidence is all that safeguards us. Those are all great answers. Fuck. Like, she has made it cozy here. She'll probably take that as a compliment. That's the practical answer. And that's the I'm still slightly drunk on special borscht answer. Yeah, we're gonna be nice to her. I am not as crazy as Harry, but I might be as crazy as Raphael Ambrosius Cousteau. You never know.
Yeah. Or maybe it's the entire world that's cursed. It's such a precarious place. Nothing ever works out the way you want it. That's why people like role-playing games. You can be whoever you want to be, you can try again. Still, there is something inherently violent even about dice rolls.
Well, at least I can save scum the white dice rolls.
It's like every time you cast a die, something disappears. Some alternative ending or an entirely different world.
She picks up a pair of dice from the table and examines them under the light.
But anyway, thanks for sharing your theories, officer. I'm sorry. I'm a bit overloaded just now, so I can only produce one die per customer.
Oh, okay, fine. All red checks fail. Ooh. Seems like the point of this game is victory, the absence of defeat on all fronts. Victory in business ventures and creative undertakings. Victory in the love and over other people. Political victory. Ideological victory. Hell, even sexual victory. Definitely a lot of object-based victories, too. having things and not losing them. One problem, though. Not a lot of victors in sight. Everyone's mostly losing. Why is that? And how do you not lose? I don't like the fail all red checks automatically thing. That's just... nah. Anyway.
Your flashlight slides over. Some of the writing has faded with age.
Just out of curiosity.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. Casting the framework like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking. Nothing happens. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you. Her voice sounds 100 years old.
Good evening, Fortress Accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? Good. Please repeat the password.
No, still
That sounds bad. A login attempt. Something a criminal would do. Don't worry.
Fortress Accident. Is there a thank you?
Tiles on the cube are still
it might have some interesting rewards, but, like, red checks, it's not so much an early game thing, because red checks pop up in most of the major plot conversations. So it might be a good thing to think about when you're doing side quests. Not ready to cart the body away yet. Actually about ready to go to bed, because it is getting late and I'm starting to yawn up a storm. We are so very nearly finished with the second day too. But there's a few last things that need to be wrapped up before we do that. Don't know if I want to wash my hands of blood first before I talk to Titus again, because I'm assuming I can talk to Titus and Aranye. So I think my plan is, yeah, it's about 3 a.m. here as well, the Juke issue. It's getting pretty late. But, yeah, I think I'm going to cut it here. And then the next time I stream this, we will wash our hands, see if Titus has anything to say, see if I can talk to Classier. And then after both of those options are exhausted, I'm going to go back into Rue de Galen building and go back to the fridge and send Kim off with the corpse so that he arrives back tomorrow morning and I don't actually lose any time with him. Smart. Anyway, that is the plan for the next stream. Thank you everyone who tuned in to catch some of this live, and thank you, the Jew Kashu, for having a chat with us, and your witty banter is always appreciated, and it's great to see you again. As I am trying as hard as I can to stick with the schedule, I did miss Disco Elysium last night, because I had to be up really early today, so I didn't really have time to stream last night, but I am getting really close to finishing Dark Souls, like closer and closer, even though I'm going to elongate it by doing Elysium, and that's always an interesting time. But you could probably expect some more Dark Souls tomorrow and Thursday, but I'm thinking of doing a bonus stream Friday, and I might go back to Disco Elysium for that, but we will see. And yeah, you're very welcome, the Jukashu. Thank you again as well, because it's great having you here, and it's great when anyone checks this stuff out, either here on Twitch or YouTube. And until next time, y'all stay safe, wash your damn hands, beware the denizens of Omicron Persei 8. That was both a COVID and Futurama joke. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care. Oh, the Jukashu. I have some Hennessy saved for the Dark Souls tomorrow, because when you're having a ball, you solve a fucking problem. You break out the fucking Hennessy. Anyway. Good night. See you then.